Around the clock, the computerized study goes on, using collective artificial intelligence and self-learning systems. The victim's testimonies tells us that you can sadly conclude unequivocally that the studies will not be completed until the victim in one way or another has been broken down and or otherwise inactivated. This provides power to simulate decomposition for the digital copy, thus the fact that the criminal research will not end and is never disclosed. Descriptions to the vulnerable people who eat psychotropic drugs due to their experiences, the experiments and testing goes on. Various medicines can affect the test objects, or guinea pigs. Everything is recorded and compared with previous values, parentheses, from the multi-annual copy of their real-time neural network and thus the registration of their behavior. Obviously, this is a disgusting and illegal way to meet the advanced development of tomorrow's medicine. The studies have resulted in enormous damage to many subjects. The number of unrecorded victims and subjects is probably very high. Families are fragmented. The children of these families are suffering tremendously. One of the subjects have recently been hospitalized with a cracked skull caused by disconnecting the balance system remotely. The accident occurred in public settings. To influence the balance system is another typical example of how technology is used against the victim to incapacitate them for society. Direct assassination attempts on several previous occasions orchestrated by the brain control deliberately strikes at the human balance system. Why this happens is likely as an alternative to the mentally ill to be treated or having a neurological disease. Brain copying with BMI and broadband access is definitely no longer a marginal research. Employers have over the years lost millions of dollars in cut downs just to be expected due to excluded employees, broken families, children who years later cannot study or work is now forced to seek psychiatric care. Siblings, grandparents, and their closest friends are suffering tremendously. Advanced medical and hospital care due to the study design is a mockery of health care and doctors who are not familiar with this research. Insurance in the multi-million figures was raised through direct damage caused by brain control. Property for millions of dollars are lost. Injuries and privacy intrusion of thousands of people is done through volunteers that serve as multimedia machines. Can't make that out. For the recording of all contacts that have, such as politicians, scientists, lawyers, friends, acquaintances, relatives, international businesses, and relations. Security codes, access codes, etc. is with the new technology no longer private. How can we know that people are not equipped with the new brain machine interface which makes the person a multimedia application with the function as a live missile is already deployed as nodes in the political and financial world of a legal recording of their conversations with the world? A sinister joy seems to embrace the researchers and perpetrators over this superior and powerful tool for mind control and copying brainwave patterns. The tool is, without a doubt, a weapon of offense and stealth. Implant technology in these forms should immediately be classified as a lethal weapon. It communicates directly with the brain's neurons and can bring the entire nervous system to a halt. The technology is now used for purposes of breaking down the person's psyche with serious accusations, threats, mock execution, incitement to suicide, physical violence, decrease and increase in heart rate, pain in and around the heart, severe chest pain, sudden and painful headaches, difficulty to breathe, tampering with rectum, prostate, and muscles, to name a few. The macabre in this use of this technology is that subjects are exposed to these atrocities while the society is not legally able to influence the situation. The ultimate humiliation has reached a whole new level. The researchers tries with the enforced communication and slow decomposition enslave people with exhortations to try to see the individual results of the brain control. One can calculate, due to the nature and perennial perspective, that there naturally are unrecorded number of people who have been driven to madness and death with this technology. There's nowhere the victims can hide or escape the access signals to their thoughts. Scientists stimulate with computers 24/7, 365 days a year to break down the subjects and stop them from trying to understand what's happening to them. A series of grotesque roles played in order to manipulate the brain, threats and statements that are mixed with modern technology. It is also in the researcher's strategy to make the picture unclear for these subjects if they attempt to get an overall picture of who the perpetrator is and the real goals of the research, a military strategy conducted by veterans and experts in the matters. The disrespectful research performed and visualized in a 3D virtual game world in the researcher's computers with no ethical boundaries and human rights, but with real living human beings as avatars. It is quite similar to the popular interactive game The Sims, but this game delivers human reality-based measurement data for research. Cover-up of brain monitoring techniques means that the crime is waterproof. Human rights laws and manipulated by a hidden militant regime researcher with expertise in information technology. In addition, the researchers say they in the dialogue to be the police power, which in itself is an extremely serious offense. For the victims, former high-performance, hard-working people with families, children, and orderly life and social contacts. People all his life been performing taxpayers. Because of a work-related mental fatigue and time on medical therapy sessions with the scientists, the opportunity to take advantage of the situation of persons for investigation and contemporary development of the new BMI and brain monitoring technologies. As these technologies and opportunities are not announced, but several instances rewritten, must be able to use knowledge and skills which are available. Sweden is a small country and the people engaged in this activity may not be so difficult to identify and stop. Same here in the USA. But I'm not going to start naming off too many organizations, but if you do a little research on the matter, you'll know that it is the United States government, intelligence agencies, without going directly to the name. They're responsible for this. The researchers in these studies have assumed the right that during the permanent reproduction of human neurotransmitters in the long term also destroy them and their lives' work. The issue is called for. How affected society to know that the violent crime and suicide has been performed in the Stockholm area in Europe in recent years and clearly diagnosed as being caused by mental illness with the voices in heads is an expression of pure brain research. This is just stating the facts of what's going on pretty much all around the world now, not just in Russia and in Europe, but definitely here in the United States as well, because I'm a targeted individual and have experienced all of this stuff pretty much, especially with my heart rate being controlled and pain around my heart and shocks to my bowels. I've actually bled, have been bleeding from the rectum. I've had my lungs constricted to the point where it pretty much felt like I guess the only way I could describe it, compare it to, is drowning. It's the closest thing I could compare it to. It's pretty sick stuff here. Scary, but it's very real. On that note, check out mindcontrol.se, and it pretty much has, if you're a target individual, you get a better idea of what's happening to you. It is downright scary, but it'll give you a better idea of what's going on. And, it's all for now. Thank you.